Have you ever walked out of a grocery store feeling like you paid premium prices for basic things? Like somehow you keep spending more, but your cart doesn't feel fuller? Be honest. How many times have you grabbed the name brand just because it felt safer, even though your budget told you not to? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't overspending because they love luxury. They're overspending because they don't know what the smarter option looks like. And when they finally see it, they say the same thing every time. I should have grabbed more. Today, we're counting down 10 No Frills Canada items that quietly outperform expensive brands. We start simple, basic, almost boring. But stay with me, because by the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why that final item is the one people regret missing the most. Let's start at number 10. 10. It's al pasta, non 50 salads. It's pasta. Nothing exciting. But let me ask you something. Have you ever paid $3 or $4 for pasta, and it tasted exactly the same as the cheap one? Weeknight dinners are already exhausting. You're tired. You just want something that works. Ital pasta at $1.50 does exactly what pasta is supposed to do. It holds sauce. It cooks evenly. It doesn't turn to mush. And the moment you realize it tastes just as good as the $3.99 box, you think, why am I paying double for flour and water? It sells fast because families go through it constantly. When something works and costs less, people quietly stock up. Let me ask you, do you really taste a difference in pasta, or do you just see the label? Stay with me. The next one solves a breakfast problem almost everyone ignores. Here's what most people do not admit. They pay more because the box looks familiar, because it feels safer to grab what everyone else grabs. But what if safe is just expensive habit? And habit is costing you every single week. Think about your last grocery trip. How many items went into your cart without a second thought? How many times did you compare the price per serving? Or did you just assume higher price meant higher quality? Be honest with yourself for a second. This is where the pattern starts to crack. Because once you realize this one basic item performs the same, you start questioning everything else on your list. If pasta can destroy expensive brands this easily, what else have you been overpaying for without knowing it? 9. Nelson True Taste Milk 4L, $5.17. Milk is one of those things you don't think about until it's gone, or until you're paying more than $5 and wondering why. Have you noticed how quickly milk disappears in a house? Coffee, cereal, smoothies, cooking. This 4L jug at $5.17 does what milk does. Fresh, reliable, no drama. And when you compare it to premium labels charging more for the same shelf life, you think, so what exactly was I paying extra for? It sells fast because it's a repeat purchase, and repeat purchases expose price differences brutally. Be honest, are you loyal to a milk brand or just used to it? Now, let's move into something that hits harder, literally. Here's the part nobody talks about. Milk is a weekly expense, not a once-in-a-while treat, so even a small price gap compounds fast. Are you calculating that over a year? Think about how automatic this purchase is. You reach into the cooler and grab what you always grab. No comparison, no pause, no second look. But what if that habit is quietly draining your grocery budget, and you never questioned it? This is where expensive brands start to lose their grip. Because when a basic staple performs the same for less, the illusion of premium disappears. If milk can destroy the higher-priced option this easily, what else in your cart is running on autopilot right now? 8. Palmolive dish detergent, $1.25. You ever squeeze dish soap and feel like you're washing with water? That frustration when you keep adding more and the bottle disappears in a week? Palmolive at $1.25 to cuts grease. Simple. You don't need a designer bottle. You need something that handles last night's frying pan. When you see it working the same as the $4 bottle, you think, why didn't I switch sooner? It sells fast because once someone tests it once, they don't go back. Tell me in the comments, are you brand loyal with dish soap, or do you just want clean plates? Because now we're stepping into something bigger. Here's what makes this one hit different. This is not a once-a-month buy. You use it every single day, every plate, every pan, every glass. So why are you paying premium for foam? Think about the last time you finished a bottle too fast. Did you blame the brand? Or did you just assume that is how it is? What if the problem was never quality? What if it was price conditioning? This is where expensive brands quietly lose power. Because when a $1 bottle performs the same, the marketing story collapses instantly. And once you see that pattern, You start questioning everything else under your sink. 7. Royale Tiger Towel 3 equals 6 rolls, $400. Paper towels are sneaky expensive. You grab them without thinking. Then one day you look at the receipt. $4 for what feels like 6 rolls? That's control. It absorbs. It holds up. It does the job. And when you realize you didn't have to pay premium pricing for basic durability, you think, I should have grabbed more. This sells out because paper towels aren't optional. When the price drops, people load up. Quick pause. If you like finding smart swaps like this before they disappear, hit subscribe and like on Canada Deals. It's not about buying more. It's about missing less. Now stay with me, because number 6 starts touching real money. Here's the uncomfortable truth about paper towels. They sit in your cart like a background expense. You assume the price is normal, until you compare cost per roll, and realize you have been overpaying for years. Think about how fast they disappear. Spills, kitchen mess, quick cleanups. You do not ration them. You just use them. So why are you funding a premium logo every week? This is where the title of this video starts to hit. Because when a $4 pack performs the same, expensive brands do not just compete, they collapse. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. 6. Cavendish Canadian Fries, $200. Frozen fries are supposed to be easy. But have you noticed how some brands charge restaurant prices for freezer food? At Tucson, these crisp up properly. They don't taste hollow. They don't feel cheap. And when your family eats them without noticing the difference, that's when it hits. I just saved money and no one complained. They sell fast because comfort food at a low price feels like a win. Not trendy, just dependable. Do you buy based on brand or on whether your kids can tell the difference? Now we're getting into serious pantry territory. Here's the shift most shoppers miss. Freezer food has quietly crept into premium territory. Prices rise, portions shrink, and we accept it because it feels convenient. But convenient does not have to mean expensive. Think about your last grocery bill. Did frozen items surprise you? Did you notice how close they are to takeout prices now? Why are we paying restaurant margins for oven food when a $2 bag does the same job? This is where expensive brands start losing ground fast. Because when taste stays consistent and price drops hard, the emotional loyalty fades. And once families realize there is no sacrifice involved, they stock the freezer before the deal disappears. 5. Gallo Extra Virgin Olive Oil, $8.99. Olive oil is where people get nervous. You don't want cheap oil, but you also don't want to overspend just for a label. At $8.99, this covers everyday cooking, roasting, sautéing, salad dressing. You're not entering a tasting competition. You're feeding a household. And when it performs the same in your kitchen as a bottle that costs significantly more, you think, was I paying for the word imported? It sells quickly because olive oil runs out quietly. And when people see a reliable brand under $10, they grab it. Let me ask you, do you cook differently with expensive oil or just feel better about the bottle? Stay with me. Now it gets personal. Here's where the mindset shifts. Olive oil feels like a quality decision, so brands use that emotion to justify higher pricing. But most daily cooking does not require luxury tier anything. It requires consistency and reliability. Think about how often you actually taste the difference. Not in theory, not in marketing. In your own kitchen on a busy night. Would your family know the price of the bottle? Or just that dinner tastes good? This is where expensive brands start losing credibility. Because when performance matches and price drops hard, the illusion fades quickly. And once shoppers realize they have been paying for image, they start questioning every premium label in their pantry. 4. Purex Laundry Detergent. 110 loads, $900. Laundry is relentless. It never ends. And premium detergents love reminding you how advanced they are. But $900 for 110 loads? That's math that makes sense. Clothes come out clean. They smell fine. They survive. And when you realize your jeans don't care about branding, you think, why was I spending $18? It sells out because households calculate loads, not marketing slogans. Be honest, do your clothes actually need luxury detergent? Now, let's talk about mornings. Here is where the budget conversation becomes real. Laundry is not optional. It is weekly, sometimes daily. So every extra dollar compounds over months. Have you ever calculated that difference over a year? Think about what those premium ads promise. Brighter whites, deeper clean. But in real life, what do you need? Clothes that look normal and smell fresh. Are you paying double for a commercial voiceover? This is where expensive brands start to crack under logic. Because when cost per load drops dramatically and performance stays steady, the emotional attachment fades fast, and smart shoppers grab it before the shelf clears. 3. Nescafe Instant Coffee, $700. Coffee loyalty is emotional. But have you ever run out and felt that mini panic? Instant coffee isn't glamorous, but it's fast, reliable, consistent. At $700, it becomes the backup that saves your morning. And when you compare cost per cup to cafe runs or premium jars, you think, this is insurance for my sanity. It sells fast because mornings are non-negotiable. Would you rather pay for branding or for caffeine that works? Now, we're getting into something people feel immediately. Here is the uncomfortable part. Most people are not paying for coffee. They are paying for ritual and image. But when you break it down per cup, the math tells a very different story. Think about how often mornings feel rushed. No time, no patience, no margin. You need something that works instantly, not something that requires equipment and perfect timing. So why pay premium for complexity you do not need? This is where expensive brands quietly lose control. Because when a $7 jar protects your routine and delivers the same caffeine hit, the emotional pull of fancy labels weakens, and smart shoppers make the switch without regret. 2. No-name bacon, $2.97. Bacon prices have gotten wild. So when you see $2.97, you pause. It crisps. It smells like Saturday morning. It disappears from the plate. And when no one at the table asks what brand it is, you think, I almost paid double for this. It sells fast because bacon is emotional. When the price drops, people don't hesitate. Tell me, would your family actually notice the label or just the flavor? Now stay with me, because number 1 is where everything clicks. Here is what makes this one powerful. Bacon is not just food. It is comfort. It is memory. It is routine. So when the price spikes, it feels personal. And when it drops this low, it feels like relief. Think about how often you have skipped it. Not because you did not want it, but because the price felt unreasonable. How many small joys have you quietly removed from your cart just because brands decided to charge more? This is where expensive brands lose their grip completely. Because when taste stays strong and price drops hard, emotion shifts from loyalty to logic. And once shoppers realize they can bring it home for less, they grab 2 packs before anyone else does. 1. Pork half loin, $1.99 per pound. This is where people kick themselves. Meat is where budgets break. You walk past it thinking it's expensive by default. But $1.99 per pound? That changes everything. You slice it into chops. You roast it. You portion it for multiple meals. One purchase turns into several dinners. And when you calculate cost per serving, you think, I've been overpaying for convenience cuts. It sells out because experienced shoppers recognize value immediately. They don't wait. They don't debate. They load the cart. So here's the real question. How many times did you walk past something like this, assuming it wasn't worth checking? That's not bad luck, and that's missing information. And now you have it. If this opened your eyes even a little, watch the next video on frugal steals where we break down Costco swaps that save even more per trip. Because once you start seeing the difference, you can't unsee it. And next time you shop, you won't be guessing. You'll be choosing. Here is the full payoff. This single item proves the entire point of this video. Expensive brands are not winning on quality. They are winning on assumption. And assumption is costing families real money. Think about how many times you chose smaller cuts, pre-sliced, pre-trimmed, pre-packaged, paying more per pound without realizing it, when a simple whole loin could stretch further. Have you been paying for convenience without questioning it? This is where the shift becomes permanent. Once you see value like this clearly, you stop blaming inflation for everything. You start recognizing patterns in pricing, and you realize the only thing you were missing was awareness. Prices and availability may vary by province and store location, and offers are valid for a limited time while supplies last. This video is for informational purposes only and is not sponsored. Always check your local No Frills flyer for the most accurate pricing.